In many ways, we have witnessed firsthand the ferocity, the barbarity, the absolute inhumanness, second perhaps, if that, to that of the Nazis, that one human being can wreak on another human being. Even worse perhaps, because when we were there, much of the violence was by default against women and children, as it is once again against women and children. Collateral damage, you may call it. But I stand to speak to you today. I was thinking, what should I speak? So that the contemporariness of the violence is reconstructed. Because we speak of it as something in the past. We forget what was the story of what is today the government of Israel, its ruling parties, its politicians, its political structures. Who were they before 1947? Brigands, terrorists. The circumstances in which the governance of Palestine was given against the will of the people of Palestine to the United Kingdom, to Great Britain, and how from there it was what can I call it, but a conspiracy given to Israel. That part is known, but how does an Indian look at it, to whom this area is an area of ignorance, of darkness, apart even for Muslims, apart from the fact that the holy mosques are in Saudi Arabia, the rest of West Asia. This politics, its nuances, is not something that is commonly discussed here, that is a part of the political discourse. So it is very easy for the larger population to swallow the lies that come in and to allow them to blind us to the reality of what is happening today in Gaza, today elsewhere, in what is now captured lands, the West Bank, that area of the edge of Asia. And how easy it is therefore for Indian politicians to celebrate relations with Israel without even the shadow of a doubt clouding it, without a question mark. When they present it as this bold country which has taught Muslims a lesson, the area surrounding it, it so easily integrates itself, dissolves itself into the larger Islamophobic debate in India, and therefore blinds itself entirely to any sensible public opposition. It is today impossible, I dare say, to have a protest in favor of Palestine. Yeah, it wasn't so 35 years ago when Seema Mustafa and I were in that region reporting. It wasn't so. It was still possible to have a protest, to have secular discussions like this, not in the Indian Islamic Center, but with IPSO, in the heart of Connaught Place, in Parallel Bhavan, in other halls where people who are not themselves from the region, people who are leftists, people who are liberals, could come up and discuss it and express their anger. Today we see a total negation of all of that. And that is what I thought I would speak against. How do we then continue to be alive to be sensitive to what is happening there? Who is this 16-year-old, 13-year-old girl who dared challenge a fully armed Israeli soldier with a bare hands pounding on his chest, and is punished for that? And the little children who then are killed. We all, in an earlier day, we would remember these people, and today the papers don't talk about it. It is elsewhere. We celebrate every little pistol and arm that we buy from Israel. We celebrate our own man when he goes there and others when they come here. Day before yesterday, or was it 3 days ago? There was a day like that celebrated here, celebrating the violence against Palestinians of all things. And all sorts of film stars and other VIPs were on the stage. It wasn't a meeting like this of victims and their supporters. We find ourselves in a situation where it is becoming impossible in India, which was for us reporters, what were the highlights of a career? It was to see Yasser Arafat in India with his headdress, with his pistols, being embraced by and embracing Indira Gandhi. And all of us, and she and I had the distinction, I would say, of interviewing the same Yasser Arafat in his bunkers in Beirut. The heady days of that time, and to revive it really saddens people like me. And I get even more sad when I find in my own community a total illiteracy about what is Israel today and what are the people of Israel in the Old Testament. You will find very few people using history, using religious history, using cultural history to denounce these usurpers that sit in Tel Aviv and want to sit in power in Jerusalem as the people of God. And these are shibboleths, these are myths that we need to demolish, as much as we need to demolish the first myth, that is, that this is a brave country holding and controlling the spread of Islam, the IS and everything else. In fact, there I could pick up and say that among the few countries that the IS does not bother about, does not attack, is Israel. And that is something we should read about. So I have come here today to express not only my personal solidarity, but I think the solidarity of all peace-loving people with this very long struggle, a struggle of 100 years, of a people who are refugees in their own land. 3 generations, I mean, even we know in India, we had friends among Palestinian students, and today sometimes we meet their children who are studying in the same universities. 2.5, 3 generations of people, Palestinians, even I can claim to know. To express solidarity, a struggle so long, so deep rooted, cannot but succeed in the end. It will take time. In India, we are talking about internal refugees. We talk of Kashmiri Pandits, and we must talk about them. We talk of other refugees. And Sri Lanka now is throwing up refugees, poor Pakistani Muslims who have been terrorized there. And some Pakistani Christians too. But to find an entire people dispossessed of the land of their forefathers under a pretext, a non-historical military project, is something that we need to be alive. And I hope the results are on the 23rd, and I do not know what they will be. This is not a place to forecast what the future will be. But I hope there will be enough Indians who know what they're talking about, who see in Palestine not only a symbol of human resistance, the basic human love for freedom and a right to the land where the bones of their forefathers are buried. We see them, and I think government that will come will find a way to once again express solidarity, to use whatever clout they can in international fora to see that the people of Palestine live with dignity in the land that has been there for always and will always be there. I salute them as I salute this image of an old woman, and Sima was saying she could well be an Indian from Kashmir whose picture was published in newspapers someday as among the oldest people voting. And surely she could well be, because are we not one? You Palestinians, I as an Indian, despite differences in appearance and the skin colors, that human integrity, that human connect must be revived once again as it was. And we commit ourselves today to see that it will be so. I thank you and for this opportunity, and I thank you for, in fact, helping me revive my own memories and finding energy from the reservoirs that one doesn't know one has. Thank you so much.